there, Tommy. How are you doing?
How you doing this evening? It's morning here, though.
Oh, well, good morning to you, Tommy, and good evening from South Africa. That is extremely excited to be seeing the fantastic Kiss finally making it to the African shores.
Well, we're looking forward to it. We've never been there, and this is a big one for us.
So the end of the road for Kiss, but the beginning for South Africa. Exactly. What a way to incorporate an end of the world tour with a continent that you finally get to conquer. Yeah, man.
I can't believe we're coming to Johannesburg. We've always talked about it, but now it's happening. So we're looking forward to it. Even just being there, I've never been to the country before. We're looking forward to seeing the culture and meeting the people and enjoying it.
Gosh, this is quite a stretch, Tommy. You guys have been doing this end of the road tour since the January of this year, and you'll be going all the way to June, July 21. Gosh, I mean that's a stretch. Eh? Well, how do you guys keep sane throughout all this touring?
That's a good question. It's not easy when you have a 2.5-year tour. We played almost 100 shows, or just not 100 shows already this year alone, and we've got a long ways to go. You have to stay in good shape, obviously, but a big part of it is just the chemistry with the band and being with people that you want to live with and tour with and be around day to day. That's really a big key to it, too. We have a lot of respect and enjoy being together off stage and on stage. That can make a big difference because it's a killer with other bands sometimes when people aren't getting along. So we've been lucky in that regard.
Tommy, as somebody that's been around the backstage, the machine of Kiss many years before you even picked up the guitar in your formal capacity, I'd love to hear from you your thoughts from those early days.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting. I've been a Kiss fan going way back, all the way to 1974 when the first Kiss record came out. And I never actually even met these guys until the mid-'80s when we had the opportunity, my old band Black Blue had the opportunity to be the opening act on the Kiss Asylum tour in fall of 1985. That's when I met Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley. And Eric Carr was the drummer at the time, and Bruce Kulick on guitar. They took us under their wing, and they were great to us. I built a relationship more with Gene. He ended up producing a couple of our records, as you know, and then later on he asked me to co-write with him on songs for an upcoming Kiss record, which turned out to be Hot in the Shade. So I've had a lot of great opportunities, but it's interesting, like you asked, just being behind the scenes and seeing the dynamic of the band over the years. There was some real tough spots in the mid to late 90s when they did the reunion tour with the original guys, put the makeup back on, and I was there for all that and saw everything happen. And it was, it was exhilarating and exciting, but it was also hugely disappointing to see, the cracks in the armor coming back and having the same problems, personality problems, and different issues with certain people in the band that happened before in the 70s. So it was interesting to see that, and like I said, really disheartening in a lot of ways, but actually it worked out to my favor in some ways too, because I was there. Eventually it came to be that they said, Tommy, we need you on stage. And one time about 2002, Paul sat down with me and they said, Tommy, start growing your hair long again. We're going to need to see you on stage and be the new guitar player in the band. So it's been 17 or 18 years now since that happened, and I've enjoying the ride all the way.
I can only imagine. I want to know the first time you put that Spaceman, makeup on, and you guys played a massive Australian tour with the orchestra. That was the first time you obviously officially played as Kiss, right? I mean, that must have been.
Yeah, you're right.
Stepping in those shoes of Spaceman.
That was my first official. That was my first official show with the band. It was the Telstra Dome in Melbourne, Australia. A show we called Kiss Symphony with the 8-piece Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, all in Kiss makeup, of course. But I'd been around the band quite a few years before that, and I'd actually been playing shows as a fill-in to begin with in 2002. Although there wasn't too much happening in 2002. There's some TV shows and a couple private gigs, and so I was not, I was used to it to a certain degree, and I knew what to do, but it is exhilarating when you put that makeup on and walking on stage knowing that you are the lead guitarist in one of the most famous rock bands in the world. And, I keep telling people it's a hard feeling to describe, because so many kids and so many of us grew up dreaming about being in a band like Kiss, and especially being the lead guitarist in a band like Kiss. It was a dream that came true for me somehow, and I've just been living that dream ever since then.
I'm glad to see that you got the job. Eddie Van Halen and some of the people were really coveting for that job.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of guys that have dreamed about being in Kiss, but there's a lot of guys, guitar players, musicians that grew up as big fans of Kiss, and we're fortunate enough to see some of our friends come sometimes to the show. The guys in Metallica, or Lenny Kravitz has always been a big Kiss fan. Lenny came to our show in London a few months ago, and he's about the nicest guy you'll ever get to know, and I'm just honored that I get to talk to Lenny sometimes. He's always so nice, and we did a photos before we went on stage in London with Lenny, and then right before we walked on stage, he pulled me aside. He goes, "Hey, Tommy," I just want to let you know that you're just absolutely killing it out there. Nice. I watch all the YouTube videos, man, because you're killing it. And to hear Lenny Kravitz say that and get that kind of acclamation, that's just a bonus. It's really what drives me. That's exciting. It's a great year.
We just spoke about your first show ever being in Australia. And I mean, obviously, you just recently had the experience of Paul not feeling so well. How's he doing, having to have cancelled the Australian tours?
Well, the Australian dates, that was a huge disappointment for us because we've never canceled shows. I've never been in a situation like that. But when your singer literally can't even speak because he had a throat infection, it's just, you have to unfortunately make decisions like that sometimes, but it's very rare something like that happens. But Paul's feeling good now, and there was a few weeks there where he was in bad shape. So, of course, got to support that, and again, Australia, when people go from fast, it's a huge disappointment. Sometimes that's just life, and we will move on, and we'll get down there again.
Awesome. Tommy, I want to ask, somebody that has been in the music industry for so long, and it's part of your every single second of your day, what does the end of the road look like? When you finally dawn the last show there in New York City, 2021, do you think you guys will still be doing music, or are you finishing, you're literally hanging up the gloves,
Well, I think it will be the end of an era, certainly with Kiss, band as it is today, but we all know Kiss will not die and go away. Kiss is a living, breathing entity. It's amazing music. It's an image. It's philosophy, and that will carry on. As far as the touring band goes, that's the thing that we're not going to do. But I'm a young man. I'm young at heart. I feel like I've got a lot of years ahead, hopefully, and I would love to be involved something to do with Kiss as things move forward. There will be things happening, I'm sure, because again, Kiss will not go away. But as we know, the band right now will. But again, I'm not even focusing on that completely. We've got about a year and a half to go still with the end of the Road World Tour, and looking forward to a lot of great shows, including Johannesburg on July 25th, because we've never been there, and we're looking forward to not only playing and meeting the people, but also seeing your great country and experiencing all the culture and the things that you have to offer down there. We're looking forward to it.
Your Epiphone signature guitars are things of beauty, absolutely. Those are really, really great guitars. So obviously you'll be donning them on stage in South Africa. Anything new happening in that front with maybe a new signature that's coming out other than White Lightning or something?
Yeah, I have a new signature guitar coming out through Epiphone the next couple months. It's called the Electric Blue Les Paul. You might have seen photos or some videos already, but it is spectacular, and it's getting the biggest reaction of all of them. The fourth one I've done, and again, it's the Electric Blue, and it's just a beauty. And I will be playing that guitar on stage when we're in South Africa, of course.
Awesome.
People can go to Tommy Thayer Guitar, TommyThayerGuitar.com to get more info and actually buy a stage played version if you're interested in that too. But it's a spectacular guitar. I'm
looking back at your repertoire with Kiss, which album would you say stands out the strongest for you? And if I could ask why?
Well, I've been a big fan of the band going all the way back to when the band first started. And I think the most important record to me is Kiss Alive, which came out in 1975, because I was just a 14-year-old kid learning to play guitar at the time. And before I even could do that, I was air guitaring Kiss Alive in my parents' living room when I came home from school each time. So I've come a long way with that record. And I just think it captures the essence of Kiss and the live experience of Kiss, and it's just the most important record in the Kiss catalog to me.
Bands today have come to understand that live touring and your stage performance, your merchandise is everything. We all know that digital music sales have gone absolutely down the tubes, and people come to see the experience, they buy the merch. Kiss was definitely way ahead of the game in understanding that, where a lot of guys only learn that today. So it's, again, what drove in those early days that innovation, that thinking, and that understanding that is the future of what rock and roll and entertainment needs to be.
Well, it's interesting because Kiss was the perfect band merchandise, just because of the imagery and all the colorful characters and the makeup and everything. So it was a natural. And you're right, back then, most bands looked at merchandising as a sellout, whereas Kiss looked at it as an opportunity. So in the 70s, they really started being the premier merchandising band. And again, some people are critical of all that, but on the other hand, if people want to buy this stuff and there's a market for it, it makes perfect sense. So, for me, I don't collect all the stuff. I think it's interesting, and it is a big part of the business, though, because people love to have Kiss T-shirts and all the different things you can buy. And you're right, the touring part of it is massive these days, and that's really the business, and then the merchandising comes along with that, because the record business itself is really dying, and that's all changed, as we know, and hopefully that's all coming around, and making sure that artists and songwriters are getting the recognition and being paid for songs that are being streamed now all the time, and making sure we get up to speed with all the royalty structure. But again, with rock and roll bands, it is about touring, the live show, and the experience, and that includes great merchandise that you can buy and take home if you want to.
25th of July, Johannesburg.
July 25th.
We're looking forward to it. We're counting the days, and keep rocking and keep rolling.
All right, James. Thanks so much. It's great talking.
Thank you very much, Tommy.